Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Michelle Fondin and I'm the author of the new book, Twin Flame Romance, The Journey to Unconditional Love, available now in paperback, Kindle, and Audible books. I'm also the author of Chakra Healing for Vibrant Energy, Exploring Your 7 Energy Centers with Mindfulness, Yoga, and Ayurveda. I'm trying to get more reviews for this poor little book who has so few reviews. It's a fantastic book, honestly. If you buy a copy, any format, Audible, Kindle, paperback, leave a review up on Amazon, take a screenshot, email me. I will give you a free Audible copy of Twin Flame Romance. Welcome to my YouTube channel. If you're new, welcome. Please subscribe below, click on that bell, scroll up to all for all notifications, and give the video a thumbs up. If you would like to schedule a Twin Flame reading with me, I do 30, 60, and 90-minute Twin Flame readings. All the details are below. You can email me or go to my website, fondinwellness.com. Today, we're talking about a very long topic. I have a feeling, I don't know how long this video is going to be. You will know because you'll see the timestamp down below. But I say this is one of my videos where you grab a cup of coffee or tea, you sit back, relax, and enjoy. Michelle on the pulpit. As some of you know who've been really familiar with my YouTube channel, this happens. It happens sometimes. It happens like once a month or so where I feel very passionate about a topic. And I feel I really have to hash through it. And today is one of those days. And here's the topic: why I don't do airy-fairy, real and practical info for twin flames. Now this came to me per usual when I receive emails, comments, questions on my YouTube channel or in my email inbox, and it's repetitive, I tend to want to really address it. Now, if you have addressed this specific topic to me, don't think that this is about you. It might be about you, but it's not about you. Generally speaking, when I address a topic, it's that I've received emails or comments or questions over 5 times at least. When I see a consistent pattern of questioning or comments, I generally feel that it's time to address a specific topic, if that makes sense to you. Then on top of that, what typically happens is my angels and guides, they point out certain things to me and they're like, hey, you should really talk about this. And so here I am on a Monday. Normally this is my day off. For those of you who view my videos, I do take Sundays and Mondays off, generally speaking. I've been trying really hard to, but to no avail most of the time. So we are really gonna dive deeply into this topic. Why no airy-fairy for Michelle Fondin? Why? It's really interesting that I should say that. I've been studying spirituality in earnest, consciously. I've always been on a spiritual journey, but consciously I've been studying spirituality for about 20 years now, and I can't even believe I'm saying this. It's 2020. It really feels like a long time. But I believe my journey started in earnest around 1999 to 2000-ish. And for some of you know from my past videos, it was around that time that I was diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and it really woke me up as far as my spiritual journey, and it just continued from there. So a little bit of my background for those of you that are kind of new to my channel or just don't know my backstory. Spiritual journey for about 20 years. My mentors, obviously Jesus, but my more current mentors in this lifetime, Deepak Chopra, Dr. David Simon, Dr. Wayne Dyer, those are really my 3 main teachers, if you will, among others that helped me through my journey and through my teachings, through the Chopra Center primarily. There are many other spiritual teachers that are a part of that. I'm just giving you the 3 main teachers that are in this current lifetime, in my lifetime, who had a major influence on my spiritual growth. And each of these people I knew personally, or I had personal encounters or interactions with them through a professional setting. So personally, meaning I worked with them, I was taught directly by them in a classroom, or I went through a program with them in which they were the lecturer or something like that in direct experience. I've had the most direct experience with Dr. Deepak Chopra and Dr. David Simon. And Dr. Simon passed away a few years ago. He was one of my greatest teachers. Dr. Deepak Chopra continues to be one of my teachers, but although he had the greatest amount of impact, probably 8 to 10 years ago, where it was really like a great infusion of his teachings in a more personal setting, a more teaching student setting. I've had some great teachers out there. I've had some really good spiritual teachers. And so I have been a spiritual teacher as a result of that for about 11 years now. I mean, in the seat of a spiritual teacher. I've written books about the chakras, I've written books about meditation, I've written books about yoga, I've written books about Ayurvedic mind-body medicine. I am fully versed in the unusual when it comes to not being in the mainstream. So it's not as if I'm not familiar with many things metaphysical, with many esoteric concepts. And it's not like I don't have direct experience with spirituality, because I most certainly do. Here's where I see the major problem with what's happening today, especially where I see a lot of teachings going in the twin flame community, where I see these questions cropping up, and it's more the airy fairy type of information that some people, not all, but some people are desiring. And one of the things that I really question, and I'm asking you to question this too, is it authentic and is it real? Because as I wrote in my book, Twin Flame Romance, if you've read the book, then you know I said this pretty much at the beginning of the book, is that I don't deal so much with the origins of twin flames as far as the lore and the stories go, because truly, nobody knows. There is not a singular person on earth who knows that information. I can tell you that right now. So whether you say, oh, we come from the Pleiadians, or we come from Atlantis, or we were built up over thousands of years and thousands of lifetimes, frankly, that's all speculation. Nobody knows that, first of all. Second of all, some people are too caught up in the airy-fairiness of the twin flame connection, in that they want to know about the auras and higher chakras and colors and visions and planets and galaxies and planetary systems. And they really go down that rabbit hole, which to me is not practical. And it's not useful, and frankly, nobody knows. Now, certainly there are people out there who can read auras. There are people out there who see the chakra colors. There are people out there who have visions of angels and guides and other spiritual beings. Okay, that's fine. That's totally fine. What I'm trying to portray to you is that in your personal twin flame journey, is it real? And is it practical? Is it necessary? Because if you can't even believe that you are in a twin flame connection, because you can't deduct that all the signs that have been given to you to prove to you that you are in a twin flame connection, then it's not by reading an aura or an orb or colors of light, or seeing a photograph of you and your twin and seeing if your chakras are aligned. That's not going to make you believe either. You realize that. If you need that scientific proof, that hardcore logical scientific evidence that it's real, then all of the really airy-fairy type of things that might not have a basis on this earthly reality for you, you're not going to believe it anyway. So let me just give you an example of the greatest spiritual leader of all time. Now, whether you believe Jesus of Nazareth was the Son of God or is the Son of God, whether you believe that he was just a person, a man, or whether you believe that he was just a prophet or a great spiritual teacher, it doesn't matter what you believe. It's the reality that A, there's archaeological evidence that Jesus existed, B, there's documented evidence of his ministry, and C, he, according to his energy system and the way he created miracles and things like that, it's proven that he was one of the greatest spiritual leaders of our time, of the past, whatever, our human time, not our time, but of human time. So whichever way you tend to look at Jesus, as an example of a spiritual leader or a spiritual teacher, here is the reality of Jesus's teachings. Jesus did not come to earth talking about chakras, orbs, higher chakras, and photographing images to find out an energetic match between people. Jesus came to earth to teach humans how to be better humans. And that's what I'm trying to say to you in this twin flame journey, is that if you are caught up in these very airy-fairy concepts to try to grasp a piece of reality, you are going totally in the wrong direction. What I sincerely believe, and the messages that I've received from my angels and guides, is that this journey is about teaching you how to be more human. It's teaching you how to have more love, compassion, forgiveness, how to serve, how to get out of your ego, how to release karma, how to be a better human being overall, more loving, more peaceful, unconditionally loving as a human. 99.9% of all human beings have a really difficult time being good human beings. And when you get into the airy-fairy stuff, like I said, a lot of it's unreal in the sense that nobody truly knows. And anybody that claims to know, it's just false. It's false, because after having studied spirituality and being in this spiritual mindset, or how should I say, being more in spirit versus being in my body or ego, I can tell you that everything that my spiritual teachings have taught me is always 100% of the time redirecting me on how to be a better human being. And Jesus taught this. So let me give you an example. So Jesus had all these disciples, and he had 12 apostles. For those of you that are not familiar with Jesus' story, he had 12 apostles that he eventually chose, not at the beginning of his ministry, but throughout his ministry that he chose. But he had many disciples, so followers. Disciple means to follow, right? The following a teacher, or to learn a discipline, right? They talk about the thousands of disciples, like up to 5,000 disciples, which in that time, around Jerusalem, in that time was a lot of people. That's a lot of people for that time. He had all these followers. And what did he do? He performed miracles to try to prove to them that God exists and that the miracles of God exist through him. But what did he start with? He didn't start his miracle setting or the display of miracles. He did not start by showing everyone the chakras and showing them orbs of light and showing them that he could travel to distant planets. He never did that. His first miracle was real and practical. What he did was he was at a wedding. It's called the Wedding of Cana. He was at a wedding, and with his mom, he hadn't even started his ministry yet. He was at a wedding and they were running out of wine. And his mom said, "Hey, son, I know you perform miracles. Obviously, you're a son of God, but I know you perform miracles and I need you to create more wine." And he responded to his mom, "Yeah, but my ministry hasn't started yet." And being a good mom, she was like, "Son, listen to me. You're going to do this because I'm your mother." So his first miracle was that he turned water into wine. And not only wine, but he turned water into the best wine. And it was practical. It was practical and real. He gave practical and real examples of showing kindness. He showed real and practical examples of being a better human, of being more loving, compassionate, healing the sick. That's the way he did. He didn't do things like, let's talk about all these airy-fairy concepts. He never did that. In fact, he always told stories through parables. He always tried to tie in stories that his disciples were familiar with in order to teach a lesson. So he made his stories very concrete. Now, it's really funny because throughout his ministry, he was trying to teach them esoteric concepts. He was really trying hard to teach them these more spiritual concepts. And he was trying to meet them where they were at to teach them these spiritual concepts. And he was trying to explain to them who he was. He was like, well, what's going to happen is I'm with you now, but soon I'm not going to be with you, but I'll still be with you, kind of. And he was like, so you guys are all with me now. A lot of you are going to turn against me. Now he was talking to his 5,000 disciples. And then he said, but you guys, my inner core, my inner circle, my apostles, there's one of you who is going to turn me into the authorities. And then my best friend, who is Simon Peter, you are going to deny that you even know me. And he's just like, no way, I would never do that. You're my best friend. You're my buddy. And he's like, no, you're actually going to do that. And so what he would keep explaining to them is, look, I'm going to die, but my Father in heaven will raise me up after 3 days and I will be alive again. And they're like, they couldn't get it. Even though they saw all the miracles, all of this, he was giving them real and practical information. He was saying, look, you whole people, you're going to turn against me. I'm going to die, but I will be resurrected to prove to you that God exists. So that's what's going to go down. And he said this to them time and time and time and time again. Real and practical information. What happened? Nobody believed him. Nobody believed him, not even his closest friends. So then he gave an analogy and he's just like, see this temple right here? This temple, it's going to crumble to the ground in an instant. And in 3 days, this temple will be rebuilt. And they're like, what? What are you talking about, Jesus? This temple took years, decades to be constructed. You're going to tell us it's going to crumble to the ground in 1 day and 3 days later it's going to be rebuilt? But of course, Jesus was talking about himself. He was talking about his body. He was talking about his spirit. He's really trying in every way possible to get them to understand the very direct information that he was actually giving to them. My question to you is, in this twin flame journey, you see the miracles. You see the miracles that are happening every single day. You see the miracles that it took to bring you and your twin flame together. And you see the miracles that are unfolding with the coincidences, the synchronicities, the happenstances, all of the lucid dreaming, the telepathy. So you are actually seeing this. That's real and that's practical, because practical, it's giving you information. If you're having a dream that you remember and you remember the conversation you were having with your twin flame, that is real and practical because you remember it. If you have a happenstance meeting with your twin flame, like you just happen to run into them at a coffee shop, that is real and that is practical information that heaven is sending you, that your angels and guides are sending you. That is real and practical information. If you see angel numbers or you happen to see your twin's name on billboards and signs and license plates, that is real and it's practical information. So all of this to say, try not to derail yourself from what is useful, what is real, and what is practical. Now, furthermore, let's just talk about what the goal is here, because I think many of you out there have lost sight of what the goal is. The goal of all of this is to make you a better human being all around. And if you cannot say that through this process you are actually a better human being, now I am not here to judge you. I am not asking you these questions. I am asking you to ask you those questions. Ask yourself these questions. Are you a better human being? Are you treating other people better? Are you serving? Have you let go of the ego? Are you still quick to anger? Are you still judging others? Do you lack tolerance of yourself or of others or your twin flame? Are you still impatient? Are you still trying to control others and manipulate situations? Are you still sitting on your bottom and not trying to make the world a better place? Are you wallowing in self-pity? Or are you going out there and doing charity work, volunteer work, saving the dolphins, saving the orcas, raising money for the fires in Australia, whatever it is. I'm not saying there's one specific thing that you must do. All I am saying to you is that if you are caught up in these airy-fairy concepts that may or may not be real, and you are not being a better human being through all of this, then you're not doing your job. You're not doing your job as a human being or as a twin flame. And none of that other stuff matters if you are not being a better human being because of it. So if you are still judging your twin, if you're still wallowing in self-pity, if you're not moving forward with your life, if you are still judging others, being intolerant, or caught up in a cycle of addiction, and addiction could be something as simple as I'm addicted to reading predictions, for example, and just viewing 2, 3, 4, 5 different twin flame readings every single day, 7 days a week, and just spending this time in trying to predict when this will happen, how this will happen. And that is an addiction. That's an obsession. That's an addiction. If you cannot sit here and say to yourself right now, those airy-fairy concepts do not matter. What matters for me in this lifetime is what's real. What matters is the experience that I'm having and the mission that I signed up for. The mission you signed up for is not to be infused in something imaginary. What you signed up for is to understand spiritual concepts that bring you to a better place as a human being. Because we live here on this earth now. And if you look around you, you can certainly see that things are not going well for the earth. Things are not going well for the human population and the earth combined. So how can you personally be a better human being so that you can help elevate the consciousness of the earth? That is the only thing that we need. That is the only thing that we as a human race need. That is what heaven is asking you to do. They are asking you to be real, practical, move yourself higher into being a better human being. And really, that's what this twin flame journey is all about. So thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for subscribing to this channel below. Click on that bell for notifications and give the video a thumbs up. Thank you for sharing this video with other twin flames, especially those that are caught up in the airy-fairy concept. And thank you guys so much for supporting this YouTube channel. You can buy a book or 2 or 3. Pledge your support on Patreon, www.patreon.com/Michelle S. Fondin, and I will see you in the next video.